So we are in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hope everyone is able to see the screen. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So we are in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called the Dhyana Yoga, which is called Ashtanga Yoga. So what has been covered till now in a very just manner, so Krishna is talking here about the Ashtanga Yoga, which is called the Dhyana Yoga. So first, Arjuna is asking the question, then yoga and the sannyasa are the same. Krishna is explaining yoga and the sannyasa both are same because before practicing yoga, we need to do the sannyas. Sannyas is nothing but we relinquish ourselves from this material world. Okay, that is what sannyasa means. No what to say no uh, material desires or our all the senses has to be engaged in spiritual thing. Okay, that is what sannyasa is means. Okay, so that is what Krishna is saying here. Then yoga and sannyasa are same. Then he's explaining about the ashtanga yoga, which is having two stage. One is beginning stage, which is arurukshu stage, the advanced stage, which is called Aruda stage. Okay, so uh, Yoga Rurukshu, then um, Yoga Ruda stage. Okay, this how we will. Krishna is explaining the beginning stage and advanced stage. Then he is talking about like a mind is both friend and enemy. Okay, so we need to talk to our mind to make it as a friend. Okay, that then what is the symptoms of person in Yoga Ruda stage? Yoga Ruda stage is like a advanced stage. Then the stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice being explained, which is basic practices like a Yama, Niyama, Asana, that eight stages. First, we need to what we have to control, what we have to start doing. Then we have to control our breathing. Okay, we have to sit in a proper place. Okay, then we have to disengage ourselves from the material world, material senses, all those things. So all those things being explained in the Ashtanga Yoga, like a basic practices and recommendation, and what is the goal of Ashtanga Yoga? That is very very important. That goal has to be understood because yoga not done for our attaining the peace. Okay, yoga been done to have the connection to the Lord. That has to be understood very clearly. Okay, the purpose of yoga has to be understood. Then perfectional stage, what is the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga? How we will be able to do the realization and attaining the perfection. Okay, all those things being explained. Then uh, the necessities of controlling mind, because Krishna explaining all these things. Then Arjuna saying whatever Ashtanga yoga practices which you are explaining, it is impractical. I don't think I'll be able to practice it. So then Krishna says, okay, it is correct only. It is difficult, but not impossible. So you can do it by the abhyasa and by doing the this one. Okay, what is that? It is by practice and detachment. Okay, so that is what he's saying. Okay, by the practice, we need to control the mind by practice as well as like a detachment. Then it is possible. Till then we have seen till 35th sloka. Let's go to those slides because last week we couldn't able to cover those slides. Okay, from 32 to 35. Any questions till now? Revision is very very important. Please, I will start sending the Kahoot quiz also. I see some of you yet to attempt the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita quiz. Please complete it so that you will be able to have the good revision. Okay. The 30 seconds sloka, which is talking about sees equality in all beings. Okay, tries to help everyone. No enemy or no friend distinction. Okay, they see everyone as like the messenger of the Lord or Lord's representative. Okay, that is how yogi sees, and the yogi been into that particular position of like understanding everyone as a similar thing. Okay. So they treat happiness and distress in a similar manner, heat and cold in the similar manner. That is what like the successful yogi will do always. Okay. Then the necessity of controlling the mind being explained here. Okay, so Arjuna says, okay, whatever you're talking about the Ashtanga Yoga, it is impractical and unendurable. It is not possible at all. Because why Arjuna saying? Because characteristics of Kali Yuga, like Arjuna was in a Dwapara Yuga. In Dwapara Yuga itself, like was not possible for Arjuna to practice. Then what to speak of Kali Yuga? Because Kali Yuga is even more degraded, correct? Like so, it is very very tough because people are having less lifespan, and they are not always like a restless mood. They keep like a moving from one thought process to other thought process, like it is a mind is like a flickering. It is keep on moving, like it is impossible to control the mind. So how to do it? Like then Arjuna's capabilities, like though Arjuna was very very capable, okay, because he was the supreme archer, correct? For an archer, you have to aim the target in a very very perfect manner. Okay, that kind of Arjuna, that characteristic of Arjuna, but still he is saying, okay, I am unable to control the mind. I can control the wind, but not unable to control the mind. Then the modern yoga practices like, okay, this is a modern yoga practice like to achieve the peace, please come and do the yoga. And if you want, like you can concentrate on anything. So all those things like are not accepted or like okay taught by Krishna to Arjuna. Okay, the yoga means linking oneself to the supreme. That is very very clear. Okay, then in the 34, uh, the system of yoga, like again he's saying the same thing. Arjuna gives the reason why this yoga is impractical, like the nature of mind is restless, turbulent, like the wind, like it is a very very strong and obstinate. It is not possible at all, but like it is possible when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Then we have to engage all our senses, all our body parts to the Krishna's service. That is what like Ambrish Maharaj does, correct? Though he was a saintly king, but he engaged all of his senses, all of his body parts, like okay, towards the service of the Lord. That is what Savai Manaha Krishna Padara Vindayor Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Vardhane. That's sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, where he engaged all his senses, okay, every body part he engaged in the service of the Lord. Eyes like he used to see the darshan of the Lord. Hands like he used to clean the temple of the Lord. Okay, and the legs he used to go to the spiritual dam of the Lord. Okay, then nose he used like to smell the flowers offered to the Lord. Okay, likewise he does everything like okay, every body parts uh, towards the service of the Lord. That is very, very important. Okay, if you do that, then our life becomes like okay, very, very simple, and all the activity, whatever we do, like it becomes the devotional activity. Okay. So then this is what like a Krishna says, analogy means mind is as a driving instrument as a chariot. Okay. Uh, the five horses are like a five senses. Okay. The five senses here, like okay, if you see seeing, then this is like a smelling, this is hearing, this touching, this is like our tongue, which is like a tasting, correct? This five senses we need to control. The body is like a chariot. Okay, the body is a chariot, and all this intelligent mind is the reins which has been used to control the horses, correct? The soul sitting in a chariot has to control by using the reins. Okay, reins means like the rope which is tied towards the horses, correct? If if we are not controlling these horses, then what happens? every horse will go on their own way, which will ensure that, like, okay, the chariot will go for a accident, correct? If all the horses has to go in a similar manner, then the reins has to be used like to control all these horses, so that all the five horses, the soul is a passenger, okay? That passenger uses like these reins to control these five horses, so that he can reach the destination. If he misuses the reins, or like he didn't control one horse, which is like, okay, one sense, um, for example, you are addicted to the taste, okay, you can do all the other things, but you can never taste the prasadam, and you fell for it, and you want to enjoy the food, like, okay, which is contaminated, or like a contaminated with unused, or it is like, okay, not suggested things. So then you will fall for it, okay? How you will meet the accident? The similar manner, like, okay, you will not reach the destination, which is the supreme abode, and you will fall for it. Like that should not be the case. That is what Krishna says. Okay, we have to control our senses by using the intelligence and the mind, so that the soul, who is the passenger sitting in a chariot, like as a charioteer, he will be able to reach the destination by using the chariot is nothing but our body, like, okay, so we have to use our body, okay, and we need to control our senses by using the mind and intelligence, so that we can do the devotion service and we can go back to the spiritual world. That is what uh, the whole theory about this particular representation. Okay. Any queries in this particular thing? Because this is a very nice analogy, or like a very nice representation as how to control our mind, intelligence, and senses, so that like the chariot can reach the destination. Here, mind is compared to the charioteer. Okay. Then who controls the horses? The intelligence is linked to the reins, like that guides the chariot. Okay, the reins are very, very important. So the reason intelligence is always important, so that intelligence can control the mind and senses. Otherwise, if we are not using the reins properly, then the senses will control us. Okay, we need to control the sense by using the intelligence and the mind, not the senses should control us. Okay, so solution to mind control, what he says, okay, it is possible. Mind can be controlled by using the suitable practice, like a abhyasa, then detachment, like, okay, which is we have to disengage ourselves from the material activities. That is what suitable practice, like a and detachment. Then abhyasena, vairagyana. Vairagyana means like a detachment. Then it is possible. Okay. Then the spiritual satisfaction achieved by positive attachment of service. Okay. Suitable practice, which is nine type of devotional service, which is Shavanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam, Padanam, Pada Sevanam. So likewise, like there are nine devotional practices are there, which is being said by Prahlad Maharaj. Who is Prahlad Maharaj? Who is Prahlad Maharaj?
Prabhu, son of
Son of
Hiranyakashipu and a
Hiranyakashipu,
great devotee of Lord.
Dr. Vishnu.
Yeah, very good. Okay, son of Hiranyakashipu, correct? Who is Hiranyakashipu? Hmm?
He's the king, and he was actually, I think, a reincarnation of Jaya Vijaya, of who were the gatekeepers of Vishnu's abode
Yeah,
in
very good.
Vaikunta.
Correct. Yeah, so they born us like a
One is
Kumatri.
become Hiranyakashipu, and the other one has become Sesipalud, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they've been taken as like a three demoniac birth. One is Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. Then in the next
Mm.
life, like they were Ravana and Kumbhakarna. In the next life,
Mm.
like they were as Shishupal and Dandavaktra.
Oh, right, right. Yeah.
Okay. So this 9 types of devotional service which has been said by like okay the said by Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, though he was born on a demoniac family, but he was able to perform the devotion service at a very, very young age. So when the Narsinga Chaturdashi is coming, I think this month or like next month, the Narsinga Chaturdashi is coming. So at that time, like we will see the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. Uh, if any one of us thinking, okay, I am tormented by the material world, I am too much like going through a stressful life. If you read about Prahlad Maharaj lifetime, you will you will see like a I am not going through anything like a Prahlad Maharaj gone through so much. Even though he was a devotee of the Lord, his own parent, his own father is trying to kill him in various scenario, and Prahlad Maharaj was like a unmoved by all those situations. He was not even thinking twice or like hey questioning Lord why you put me into that situation. He was happily accepting those and being saved by the Lord, and he was doing the devotion service. He was ensuring others doing the devotion service as well. So Prahlad Maharaj is one of the Mahajan. Okay, he was performing the devotion service at a very very young age. Okay, and he was one of the prime example for devotion for performing the devotion service. Okay, so his life teaching would be like a exemplary learning for us to do the devotion service, how to do the devotion service in a very determined manner. That is very, 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 very important. Okay, we will see during the time of like a Narsingha Chaturthi. So Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. So this is what we have seen till now, like a abhyasana, like okay, then vairagyana by using the suitable practice. Because practice makes a man perfect, correct? Like a so you may fail in one time, two time, like a but you will not fail on 100th time. So Lord will ensure that like you get the learning experience by keep on practicing it. Okay, then vairagyana, which is detachment from the material world. Okay, engage our senses to the devotion service rather than engaging it in the material activities. So till now we have seen this word like okay, the 9 process of devotion service. It is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So the Shravanam is hearing. Who is the greatest example of like okay, the hearing? Is Parikshit Maharaj because he been cursed by the Muni's son Shringi, and who will die like okay, Parikshit Maharaj been got the curse as he will die in 7 days, but he didn't amazed by those things like uh, he was not perplexed like okay by hearing that immediately like he relinquished all his kingly duties, and he went and on the bank shore like okay he started hearing about the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Parikshit Maharaj is the greatest example of like okay the hearing. Then Kirtanam, who is the chanting the glories of the holy name like okay, and Srimad Bhagavatam like being recited by Sukadeva Goswami like already Srimad Bhagavatam is very very fruitful. When it was coming as a parrot like nose, because Sukadeva Goswami having a parrot like nose. Okay, so when it was coming from Sukha Amrita Diva Samyutam, okay, it is Bipada Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Mugurago Sukha Rushi Agadaga. Okay, so when it was like recited by Sukadeva Goswami, it is even more fruitful. Okay, that is what Kirtanam, the Sukadeva Goswami. Then Smaranam, who is the uh, yeah, Prahlad Maharaj was the greatest example of like okay, the Smaranam. Okay, then Pada Sevanam. Lakshmi Devi is like okay, the greatest example of like the Pada Sevanam. Then Archana means like okay, Maharaj Prithu, who was doing like a deity worship in a perfect manner. he was the exemplary uh, character of like okay the deity worship. Then Vandanam like a Akrura went to from the Mathura to Vrindavan to bring Krishna like okay by the order of Kamsa. Okay, but while going Akrura like praying to the Lord that like okay you given me the greatest opportunity. So he was always like in the prayerful mood. Then Dasyam, like a none other than Hanuman Jayanti, some part of like okay, today is the being celebrated as Hanuman Jayanti also, correct? Like okay, so Hanuman being always servant of the Lord, okay, to Ram, Lakshman, Sita. So he is the exemplary act of like okay the Dasyam. Then Sakyam, like none other than Arjuna, correct? Because the Lord is ready to do anything for his friend. So Arjuna was like the greatest devotee of the Lord as well. Then Atmanivedanam, like a complete surrender, Maharaj Bali Maharaj, correct? Like though his guru, who is Bali Maharaj guru?
Prabhu Shukra.
Sukracharya, okay. Sukracharya mentioning like okay to Bali Maharaj, no, this Brahmana boy, this 3 feet boy, like okay, he is not not an ordinary Brahman. Okay, I think he is the representative of the Lord. He wants to defeat you, so don't accept his vow or like don't fulfill his request. Then Bali Maharaj says, no, 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 like okay, I committed to do the donation to the Brahmana, so I will do that. Like, okay, even if I fail, if I defeated, like I am fine. So complete surrender. Because Lord was asking in a Brahmana form, like a 3 feet land. So 1 feet he covered the whole of earth, and the other feet like he covered the celestial planet. Then when Lord is asking, like a Vamana Dev is asking, where I will put my third feet. So at the time like okay Bali Maharaj says now my head only there like okay which is full of in arrogant attitude, please put on my head your lotus feet so that like my arrogance will go. So at the time Lord puts the head sorry his lotus feet on his Bali Maharaj head, and he goes to Patala Loka, where he will be a permanent king in ruling the Patala Loka. Okay, so Lord is always like the gatekeeper for that Patala Lok. So the Onam celebration, which is celebrated widely in like a Kerala, so that is nothing but like a Bali Maharaj is requesting the Lord once in a year, like I will go and see my people. Like okay, for that, please grant me the wish. So at that time, like every year, he comes during the Onam festival. The Bali Maharaj comes to see the his subordinates. Like hey, but many forget like what is the purpose real behind the Onam, and they will celebrate like in Onam Sadhya and like that whatever the Pookolam and other things like a flower decoration. Okay. Yeah. So this is the nine devotional process. Like okay, we can engage all of our senses in this proper manner, like a Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So Atmanivedanam, like a while we performing all these devotion service, any one or like a all, our contaminated thoughts in our heart will be cleansed like okay slowly and steadily, and we will be able to attain the love of Lord, the Krishna prema, like okay we will be able to attain that. That is what the purpose of our life, that is what we live for. Okay, so that has to be understood, and we have to practice that like in our devotional service regularly. Okay, so any questions here? This very very important topic, like this nine pros of devotion service. We have to keep reminding ourselves to perform all these devotion service so that we don't get stuck in this material world. Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam. Okay. If we come here for material enjoyment is having a start and end, correct? So it has a start and end. It is temporary. It is dukkale mashashvatam. Okay, so that is not suggested by the Lord. Where we want to have the bliss, like okay, that bliss can be experienced only in the spiritual world. To go to the spiritual world, we need to do the devotion service. By doing the devotion service, like slowly and steadily, in the detachment manner, like from the material world, then we will be able to go back to the spiritual world. That is the purpose of our life. Any questions, realization, feedback, please feel free. We have not yet started the class, but it's very, very important, like to understand this 9 process of devotion service. It comes in like a seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth chapter, 23 to 24th sloka. Shri Pragrada Vacha. Pragrada means like nothing but Prahlad Maharaj, correct? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dashyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhakti Chain Navalakshana like a 9 devotional service. Kriyeta Bhagavati Adda Tan Manye Aditam Uttamam. This is what the Uttama, like this is what the perfection we can do in our life. Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's see the 36th sloka. So in the 36th sloka, yeah. So Krishna says, okay, it is Abhyashayana to Kaunteya. Vairagyena cha grahyate. Okay, then Krishna conclusion. He is concluding mind control is must for yoga. So mind control is difficult, but it is possible by the practice as well as the detachment, and it is a must. Okay, we have to perform for the yoga. Okay, for one whose mind is uncontrolled, self realization is difficult. Okay, but it is possible for one whose mind is controlled and who endeavors by appropriate means. Okay, we have to engage our mind in a proper manner and perform the devotion service by controlling our mind. So mind control is very, very important, and it is must for performing the yoga as well as to do the self realization. Okay, yoga practice, there is a nice analogy. Yoga practice without controlling mind from material enjoyment. Okay, someone can say, okay, I will do the yoga, but I will not like disengage my mind from the material enjoyment. Then it is a waste of time. Don't ever do that. Okay, that is as good as igniting the fire while pouring the water on it. Okay, uh, to the fire to ignite, okay, it should be away from the water, correct? But if you do the both the things like a together, igniting the fire as well as like a pouring the water, it is just a waste of time. Like it will neither ignite the fire, like a it will not be like a useful at all. That is what like a Krishna says. So controlling the mind, yeah, without controlling the mind and engaging in yoga is nothing but like a igniting the fire by pouring the water. It is waste of time. The yogis who controls their mind and give up their propensities for material enjoyment. So they have to control the mind and give up the association of the material senses. Okay, material enjoyment. They only will perfect their yoga and finally attain the liberation. Okay, they will finally able to attain the liberation. So that is what being said here. So Arjuna is asking, like, sorry, Krishna concluding, Asamsayamatmana yoga dusprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata sakyo vaptum upayataha. For one whose mind is unbridled, Self-realization is difficult work, but he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. That is what like we have seen just now. Okay, we have to control our mind. That is a must for yoga. Okay. Then Arjuna having a question. Okay, 6.37. Arjuna Uvacha Ayatihi Sraddhaya Yopeta Yoga Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kam Gatim Krishna Gachadi. Gachadi means attain, correct? Like we already seen in multiple places. Gatim means our destination. Okay. So Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist?" What is unsuccessful transcendentalist? One who starts practicing the yoga, but he didn't reach the destination in the middle itself, like either he passed away or he deviated from the path. Okay, he is unsuccessful. Who in the beginning takes the process of self-realization with faith, but later desists like due to worldly mindlessness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. Mysticism is nothing but like a yoga. So Arjuna asking the queries like on behalf of us, okay, we have to control our mind, we have to perform the yoga. Okay, we know we started the practices also, but in due course of time, we misused or like hey, we completely deviated from the path. How? For them, like hey, what is the destination? For example, you are switch on the Google map and going to a destination, correct? So instead of taking like exit 37, you taken like you missed that exit and then Google will redirect like okay to go to the exit 38 or like a 39 likewise, correct? The similar way Arjuna is asking the question, the unsuccessful yogi who started off like a well, but in due course of time like he missed to follow and he deviated from the path. What is the destination? What will happen to them? That is what the query of Arjuna here. Okay. Then Krishna is answering. Kacchinnobaya vibrasthas chinnabram iva nashyati. Nashyati means, what is a nashyati? Nashyati means like, okay, there is a loss, correct? Iva nashyati, like, okay, there is no nashyati. Apratisto mahabaho. Mahabaho he is referring Arjuna, correct? He is a mighty armed Arjuna, correct? Vimudo brahmanaha pati. So, oh mighty armed Krishna. Okay, sorry. Here, Arjuna's query like is still going. Arjuna is saying like, "Oh, mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere?" Okay, sometimes the cloud may appear as if like it is going to bring the heavy rain, but due course of like okay the wind coming, it lost like okay then it will disappear like in no time in any sphere, correct? Like the similar manner Arjuna is saying, uh, does not such a man like a one who is deviating from the path of yoga while practicing, um, he will be like a fall away both from the material and the spiritual path and perish like a riven cloud, correct? So Arjuna is put forth these questions to Krishna. Let's see like what Krishna is going to answer. एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुम् अर्हसि अशेतसः त्वद्धन्य संशयस्य यस्यस्य चेतना हि उपद्यते. So one more thing, like he's saying, this is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. So this is my doubt, Krishna. Please dispel it, like please clarify this, like completely. but for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. So he is asking a doubt to Krishna and asking to clarify as well. And he is putting one more query also. Krishna, okay, for me, you are there to clarify the doubt, okay? But for you, who is there to clarify this? So he's he's requesting like a how I can completely understand whatever you say is correct and complete. So that is where like okay, Krishna will establish his authority one more time, correct? There is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. And I have one more query, like, but for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Like, okay, I don't think like anyone will come and give the knowledge to Krishna. So, but for you, like, how it is possible? Who clears the doubt if you have some doubt? Like, okay, that is what Arjuna is asking to Krishna. So, then Krishna says, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, correct? Bhagavan can be represented only to Krishna. That is what we have seen like in Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yasasasriyaka. Okay. So now the Zoom may disconnect, like a please rejoin. Okay. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kachya Kaschid Durgatim Tadagachati. The Supreme Personality of God had said, Son of Pritha, yet sorry, Hare Krishna. Yeah. The Supreme Personality of God had said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So here Krishna is assuring uh, Arjuna, saying that okay, whatever the devotional service which someone does, okay, it will never be destroyed, even in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, oh my friend, is never overcome by evil. Okay. The similar kind of sloka in one another chapter will come, what we covered till now. Let's see who's able to say that. There is no destroy or like a diminish in whatever we do in the devotion service. Which sloka and which chapter? Let's see who's able to recite this. At least if you can say which chapter and which sloka, I'd be happy. Because that sloka has to register in our mind, because whatever we do in the material life, okay, you earn wealth, you earn fame, you earn like okay, the respect in the society, you have a lot of like a wealth, but whatever we have, all those things in the material opulences will will be zero when we die, correct? Like a we can't take anything along with us when we die. Only one thing we can take is only the devotional service. If you do like a 10% of the devotional activities, okay, that is a permanent bank balance, correct? That will be carry forward along with our soul. So when the soul is going to take a next life, okay, it will start not from zero, but from 10%, okay, because already you accumulated like the 10% of the wealth in the spiritual bank balance. But in the material bank balance, like you have to start from zero, correct? So this uh, this has to be like a motivational sloka for us. And what is that sloka? Like we have seen it in the previous chapter. Uh, Whatever we do, like okay, in the spiritual thing, there is no diminish, there is no diminish, like there is no loss or diminish, like, okay, there is no loss as well as no diminish. What is the sloka? Any try? Hare Krishna. Everyone been so silent. What happened? Okay, in the second chapter, there is a sloka called Neha Bikramana Sosti Pratyavayona Vidyade Swalpam Apiyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat, correct? So this sloka has to be remembered all the time because that sloka gives us the um, the confirmation to do the devotion service in a better manner, in a determined manner. Okay. Neha Bikramana Sosti Pratyavayona Vidyade Swalpam api asya dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Okay. Swalpam, even if you do very little, okay, there is no loss or diminish. Okay. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. Okay. And little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Okay, this is what he's saying. Okay, it is highest transcendental quality work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment. What what is the example? Like, can anyone say what is the example? Like, even a smallest form of activity being appreciated by the Lord.
Is it the squirrel carrying the small stones for Ramasetu?
Very good. Okay, that is one thing. Very, very nice. Okay. When all the monkeys or vanaras, like, okay, they were trying to build the bridge. Okay, it was so hefty stones, like, being lifted by all the monkeys while they, like, building the bridge for Lord Rama to, like, to cross the bridge. So at the time, like, the squirrel, the smallest of the servant, okay, they were trying to take some small stone or like a sand and trying to fill in between the rocks. Okay, at the time the vanaras were saying, okay, please move away, because otherwise, like, this stone will fall on you and you will die. So at the time, like, Lord Ram, squirrel was very disappointed, and they are going and complaining to Lord Ram, and Lord Ram calling all the vanaras, and he's saying, okay, the squirrel's task, or like the squirrel's seva is no less than your seva as well, correct? Like, hey, the squirrel is doing as per his capacity, and you are doing like as per your capacity. So no seva in the devotion service, no service in the devotion service is like a big or small. That is the reason, like, a they always say we have to do the menial service, because we should, okay, taking the class or deity worship, like, okay, doing the arti, someone will be like a so voluntarily, like a doing that, but cleaning the temple, or like, okay, doing the pada seva, or doing like the cleaning of the floor and the other surroundings, someone will not say like, okay, okay, I will not be able to do that. No, then you are discriminating in the seva. Okay, that shouldn't be there. We have to treat every seva in a very, very equal manner. Okay, that is what the important thing, like, which would be appreciated by the Lord. There is one another instance, like, okay, the
Sudama giving poha to Krishna when he goes to um, um,
yeah,
see him.
yeah, that is like a pure love, Mataji. Like,
Yeah.
that is as well
Mm.
correct. Like, that is a pure love. But what here I'm saying is like a, yeah. So what is the smallest of the seva, or like a determination, like a which is not been uh which has been appreciated by the Lord, and like a Lord comes and helps that devotee. Okay, one is like that squirrel. The other
Mm.
one, like, okay, can anyone say?
Prabhu, one more when one of the devotee he don't have the resources, so he offered the Lord sweets. He offered in the mind only. That also is accepted by the Lord.
Yeah, correct, yeah. So that is like, okay, that is Prabhu. Yeah, he is like a little miser. So he don't want to uh, offer like a he would be thinking, okay, why I need to waste my energy and waste my this one like the resources to prepare the kheer for the Lord. Okay, so then he will put everything into the mind. So one day like he while offering, he will offer like immediately from the stove. So at the time like he got burnt. So at the time he's thinking, okay, no, I offered in my mind, how can I be burnt? Okay, then Lord coming and saying that no, 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 whatever offering you are doing, like I accepted that. So that is how he understood, oh, how much miser I was. Like I was very very miser, and even if I offering it in mind, like a Lord is accepting, then how much like a Lord will accept if I offer it with full heart. So that is one thing. One another instance where have anyone heard of like the sparrow trying to yeah, but like that activity is never wasted, correct? Like so the sparrow, the ocean, sparrow lays the egg. Okay, so the ocean like a taken that egg. So immediately like the sparrow was very disappointed because he wanted that egg back. Okay, the sparrow was asking the ocean, please like return my egg. Okay, so then immediately ocean is saying like, hey, I'm not going to return, and it is not possible also. Then immediately the sparrow is having the determination to taken that egg from the ocean. So he what the sparrow is doing, sparrow going to the ocean, and he takes the a little water. So the sparrow is like a determined to dry up the ocean. Is it possible for the sparrow to dry the ocean? It is impossible, correct? But the sparrow was determined to do that. Then immediately, like a Lord appreciating that and going, and but he is sending the Garuda. So then Garuda like a trying up the ocean. I don't know whether you heard of this story. It's very very good. Like a sparrow determined to dry up the ocean. Yeah. Then we will get that. There is a nice thing like I explained in the little sparrow's determination. So we have to because the sparrow lost her eggs like okay in the ocean, and the sparrow was like determined to take back the egg like by drying up the ocean. So this has to be like okay one another example to be determined and to so that our determination like will never fail. Lord will ensure that like those spiritual activities like will be supported, and like it will never go in vain. So that is what like this loka has to remind us all the time. Neha bikramanasosti pratyavayo na vidyade swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Okay, there is no loss or diminution while performing this devotion service. That has to be our focus like in and this has to uplift our consciousness. This has to motivate our consciousness. This has to motivate our consciousness like to do the devotion service in a better manner, because whatever we do in devotion service, there is never going to be a loss or diminution. Like okay, any questions? Any questions? So that is what Krishna says here. O Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Pritha, the transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with a distraction either in this world or spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Okay, so we will end with this particular sloka. So let's see, like, what are the things. So Krishna's conclusion is like a mind control is must for yoga. Then he says, like, in the one should endeavor to control his mind in the practice of yoga. Arjuna became inquisitive, like to know what happens to someone who fails to continue his endeavor in the yoga practice. That is what we have seen. Okay, Arjuna's inquiry is like, does he fall away from the spiritual and material world like a riven cloud? Like a three paths for self-realization is there. One is jnana yoga. By doing the jnana yoga, like, okay, the knowledge we will be able to achieve. Then the next one is like a Ashtanga yoga. The other one is Bhakti yoga. But out of all these things, like, okay, the easy process is to do the Bhakti yoga. Okay. And the results are guaranteed. Okay. Bhakti yoga is the best path and easy to perform. As like, okay, the other Ashtanga yoga and Jnana yoga is going from floor 1 to 100 via steps. Okay. You may fall down anytime. You may get like a fatigue and you may get tired, but going from first floor to 100th floor via lift is as good as like doing the bhakti yoga. Okay, it is easy, quick, and we'll be able to do that. Okay, then Hare Krishna. So no misfortune also. One who is engaged in the auspicious activities does not meet with a distraction or misfortune like a durgatim. There is no misfortune either in attaining spiritual goals or even material goals also. So this is what we have seen the till 40th. Okay, let's see quickly here as well. So 36 we have seen. So mind control is a must for self-realization. Okay, yoga practice without mind control is waste of time, as we have seen that analogy, correct? Like igniting the fire by pouring the water on it, correct? Like so, this is what the analogy. Like if you see, the Krishna consciousness offer a practical possibility, like how to control the mind, because we are disengaging our senses from the material activities and engaging the senses in the spiritual activities, correct? So that is the reason like Krishna consciousness is nothing but bhakti yoga. So 37 to 45, Arjuna's query of like a destination of the unsuccessful yogi. Okay, the 37 to 39, like he is asking, one may begin the process with faith, but over a period of time, like he fall down, and does such a man like perish like a raven cloud, like with no portion in any sphere. And Arjuna is asking to dispel this doubt, like from Krishna, but he's asking like the same manner, who dispelled uh, the doubt for you. Okay, why does Arjuna asking question, like because 2.40 provides all full guarantee on the transcendental path, correct? Neha bikramana sosti pratyavayano ityade. Okay, so we have to engage our senses, like we have to control in the spiritual thing, and we have to control our mind. So 37 is like again destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist. Okay, basic principle of self-realization, different paths to pursue self-realization. Like we can do go via the jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga or bhakti yoga, but bhakti yoga is like a easy, because in this Kali Yuga, everything is contaminated. So bhakti yoga is like easy to perform. Okay. Then 38 again he is asking destination of the unsuccessful translators. One may like a start in the beginning, but due course of time like they are falling down. So at the time like will they all their activities like will go in vain in the material and spiritual activities. That's what he's saying. Okay, but but Krishna says, okay, no, it is not. They are not going to whatever activities they perform, like it is not going to be wasted. So the same sloka itself, like he's saying, for me, like you are there to clear off my doubt, but for you, like who is there? Okay. On what basis does Arjuna expect Krishna to know everything? Because in 2.12, like Krishna explains the eternal individuality of every living entity. There, like he is talking about the soul and super soul, and the soul knows only the consciousness of that particular living entity, but the super soul knows like the consciousness of every living entity. Okay, we already seen the difference between soul and super soul, correct? Though qualitatively both are having same characteristic, but in quantitatively, like a super soul is much higher than the individual soul. Okay, jivatma paramatma, correct? Krishna and Krishna conscious and devotees alone can know what is what. Okay, how? Only Krishna can dispel the doubt of Arjuna. Then 6.40, like a the transcendental engaged in auspicious activities meets no distraction either in this world or the spiritual world. That has been said by here. Like a, even while the Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva, correct? Like when Vyasadeva was very confused post writing all the four Vedas, correct? So at the time, Narada Muni says, no, 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 you didn't write the glories of the Lord. So please write Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that is how he he is able to like get back to the thing. And even like a King Bharata also, like a Jada Bharata, when King Bharata went to the forest like to do the devotion service, but then he got attracted to a deer. Like then he passed away by thinking about that deer. So next life, like he comes as a life of a deer, correct? Like then he recollects all those things. Then he goes to the next life as the Jadabharat, and he is instructing King Raghugana, and he is going back to the spiritual world, correct? Like there is no loss or diminution, like in whatever we do, that has to be registered in our mind. So perform the devotion service always, satatam nityam. So all the time, like we have to perform the devotion service in a regulated manner. Then it is possible for us to attain the Supreme Lord, Supreme Abode, and attain the Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna. So with this, I will end. Any question, any feedback, please feel free to discuss it here. Any questions? So in a quick summary, like we have seen, Arjuna is asking the question, okay, what happened to the unsuccessful yogi? Before that, like my mind control is must for performing yoga. Then Arjuna asking question like, what happened to the unsuccessful yogi? Then Krishna says, okay, Arjuna is saying, will they like okay lost their both spiritual and material life like a raven cloud? Uh, for me, like you are there to dispel, but for you, like who's there? Then Krishna says, no, there is no loss or diminution. Like whatever they do will not be wasted, and they will be able to like continue in their next life. So that is what Krishna says. Okay, they will never. One who does good will never overcome by evil. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any question, feedback, suggestion, please feel free to mention it here. And have wonderful weekend and week ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank
I'll
you.
stop.